Welcome to Football with Cheese. A lot going on in the NFL right now. We got 2 games today, 2 games tomorrow, a lot of coaching situations. But first, if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe and hit that bell for notification so you never miss one of my videos. Anything crazy happens, any breaking coaching news, firings, anything, I will, of course, make a video, so make sure you are subscribed. Real quick before we get into the games, it looks like the Packers are going to keep Matt LaFleur and Brian Gutekunst. They still have to work out contract extensions, but the longer it goes, more likely they both stay. If a trade was going to be worked out, it probably would have been done Wednesday or Thursday. Unfortunately, it's just bad for the Packers. They just don't care about winning championships, so let's keep LaFleur. We lose every 2 and 3 scored lead. Okay. Also, the Giants still have not hired John Harbaugh. There's some hang-ups, and it might be the fact that Joe Schoen is still the GM, or maybe John Harbaugh wants power over him to pick his own players or pick the 53. We'll see. Joe Schoen could be fired. Joe Schoen. Anyone knows how to say his name, please let me know. I think he's done a good job in drafting last few drafts. Overall, no, he's not done a great job because they're not a good team. We'll see what happens. All right, real quick, I'm going to talk about these 4 games, give you a key matchup, give you a prediction. Buffalo at Denver. Of all the games, I'm looking forward to this one the most. It's a rematch of last year when they played in Buffalo, and I actually predicted the Broncos would cover. I thought it'd be a good game, and the Bills destroyed them. But they've been terrific this year. They're number 1 seed. They had a bye, and mixed feelings about buys. You want the bye because you basically get a free round, and you have no injuries. Same time, sometimes you're not as in rhythm because you didn't play the previous week, but of course you do want the bye. But Broncos should be healthy, well rested. And the Bills, they won in Jacksonville last week. Big win for them. But they did it forcing turnovers. You can't count on that. The spread is Denver by 1.5. That's interesting spread. Vegas always seems to favor the Bills in the spread. And they rarely cover spreads, especially first half spreads. But I do have a stat for you. The referee in the game is going to be Carl Cheffers. Josh Allen and the Bills are 5-0 when they're an underdog, and Carl Cheffers is the head referee. That's interesting. Here's what I think. I think Josh Allen's going to be running for his life. I think the Broncos pass rush will get there. I also don't think the Bills receivers can get any separation on the Broncos corners. So Dalton Kincaid needs to step up. He needs to have a big game. He and Dawson Knox at tight ends, because the Bills could really struggle to move the ball to score points in this game. If they don't get to 20 points, they will not win, because the Buffalo defense, especially the run defense, is bad. I know the Broncos don't have the greatest rushing offense, but look for them to have a game plan focusing on the running game, and I think it will be successful. I just think the Bills have too many weaknesses, and Broncos defense is just so good. Despite the referee seeming to favor the Bills, we'll see what happens. But despite that, I'm going to take the Broncos to win and cover the 1.5. Next game, 49ers at Seahawks. 49ers, very impressive win. Shanahan outcoached Sirianni. They won in Philadelphia, beat the defending champs. Fun to watch, great game. There was a wide receiver pass for a touchdown. Here's the thing. The Seahawks just have a better team than the Eagles. And Brock Purdy, the quarterback of the 49ers, struggles against Mike McDonald coach teams. When he was defensive coordinator at Baltimore and with the Seahawks, Brock Purdy seems to be great against everybody else, but against Mike McDonald, he struggled. And the game about a month ago, the 49ers couldn't move the ball at all. And this is the advantage of having the bye, because George Kittle tore his Achilles. That's devastating for the 49ers, because you have to know where George Kittle is at all times. He's had some tremendous playoff performances. The one thing that could hurt Seattle is Sam Darnold. Not only has he struggled in some big games in the past, he struggled in the playoffs for Minnesota last year, but he hurt his oblique. He's going to play. That's the only way the 49ers win, is low scoring, keep it close, and hope Darnold either gets hurt or plays bad, starts throwing picks. That you've got to force turnovers to win this game. But the 49ers just have zero pass rush. They don't have a good defensive line because of injuries. Fred Warner's not going to play. I think this could get ugly, especially if Darnold plays well. I think the Seahawks can run the ball. I don't think anyone can cover Jackson Smith, Nick Jigba. The spread is 7. I like Seattle to win by 2 or 3 scores. I don't think it's going to be close. And I just don't think the 49ers can score a lot of points in this game. Okay, last two games on Sunday, Texans at Patriots. The big thing for the Texans is Nico Collins is not going to play, and that's devastating. He's by far their best receiver. On the Lights Out podcast, me and Mike, every Tuesday night, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. Link in the description. I'll link the show from this past Tuesday where we did do predictions. It's a 3-hour show, but about 2 hours in, we start talking NFL. So make sure you check that out. I predicted the Texans would actually win on the road. I'm going to flip that. I was really torn in this game. This is the toughest game to pick, in my opinion. Texans are going to play in very cold weather. And no Nico Collins. All their receivers now are pretty young. And Christian Kirk, who's past his prime. I just think the Texans, with their offensive line, which is not very good, I think they're going to get pressure on C.J. Stroud. I don't think they're going to be able to score many points. And even though the Patriots didn't look great last week against the Chargers, at least offensively, and the Texans have probably the best defense in the NFL, I think they'll score enough points to win. This could be like 17-6, 17-9. There are a lot of people picking Bills and Texans, and if that happens, they'd play in Houston. Houston would get the home game, the 5th and 6th seed, but I think it's going to be Denver, New England in Denver. That would be a crazy game. Two really young quarterbacks, Bo Nix and Drake May. So give me the Patriots to win and cover the 3. The over-under is only 40.5. I might even take the under in that. Last game, Rams-Bears. Okay, so the Rams are a better team. The Bears were gifted a game last week. They were down 21-3 at halftime. You know, Caleb Williams only plays well in the fourth quarter. Packers just gave him the game. Matt LaFleur. He's a terrible coach. Here you go. You can have the next round. The only way the Bears win this game is if the weather affects the passing game for the Rams. Matthew Stafford to Puka Nacua to Devontae Adams, those really talented tight ends. That's the only way the Bears can win this game. They have to keep it low scoring, and they have to run the ball and get ahead. They can't get behind and just assume they're going to come back against the Rams. You can't. This isn't Matt LaFleur coaching the team. This isn't the Raiders, who they barely beat. So if they get behind 21-3, they are done with the Rams. Because the Bears' defense just isn't very good. They cannot cover either one of those receivers. That's the best 1-2 combo left in the playoffs for sure. But the weather could be a factor because the Rams, play in a dome in LA. But I'll say this. They played pretty well in the snow last year. They lost to the Eagles, but they almost beat them. If they could have blocked Jalen Carter at all, they would have won that game. And the Eagles would not have won the Super Bowl. Maybe the Rams would have. The Rams were my pick before the playoffs to make it to the Super Bowl from the NFC. I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to have them covering the 4.5. That's a lot. It was 3.5. It moved, so a lot of people are betting Rams. I say they win by a touchdown. I don't think it's going to be a blowout because of the weather. And the Bears will score some in the fourth quarter. They always do. So give me the Rams as the only road team I'm picking, looks like. Give me the Rams to win and cover. That would set up Rams-Seahawks, probably the game of the year about a month ago. The rematch of that Thursday game, that would be amazing. And I have Patriots, Broncos. So let me know in the comments. Give me your predictions. What 4 teams you think will advance to the AFC, NFC championships. If you enjoyed this, give me a thumbs up. Really helps out the channel. Once again, Lights Out Podcast every Tuesday night, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. Link in the description. We will, of course, talk about these games this Tuesday and all the coaching news because there'll be a lot of hires next week. Share this with anyone who loves football as we continue to grow the channel. Check this video out if you have not, and I'll see you in the next one.